Now, we've already talked about how reflection is a part of the service learning process, but it is cyclical. We like to encourage teachers to make sure that reflection takes place all throughout the service learning process. Now, reflection that's done prior to the service experience is called pre-flection. We like students to do reflection on an ongoing basis. It's important that you don't have your students participate in an entire service learning project and then do reflection after the project is finished. Reflection needs to take place prior to, during, and after the service learning experience. And we need to do this in a number of ways. And that's why we say that reflection is continuous. Next, reflection must be connected to the curriculum. Reflection should be connected. Now, this means that you can use your language arts curriculum, for example, your art curriculum, to do reflection. Reflection can be used as a wonderful, wonderful assessment tool for your students. If your students, for example, write a reflection piece in their journals, you can then assess that journal entry for language arts skills, for spelling skills, and you can give them a grade on that journal reflection. That's a wonderful way to include reflection and progress monitoring assessment of your students. Now, reflection also has to be contextual. That means that it links service learning to the intellectual and academic pursuits of students. Does reflection make sense? Is it relevant? Now next, is reflection challenging? There are some wonderful, wonderful multiple intelligence reflection cards that I often use with teachers. These reflection cards give teachers an opportunity to do reflection based on the student's strengths, their multiple intelligences, gives them an opportunity to choose the means by which they reflect upon the service that they're doing. We want students to be challenged in their perspective. We want to see change in our students. It's important not just to see change in the community, but to see that the students are growing and changing as they progress in the service process. Next, reflection is often coached. Students often need intellectual and emotional support in order to learn and think in new ways and to develop alternative explanations to their experiences. And you can help a lot with this. How can you help students see things in new ways? How can you help them gain new feelings and emotions? This is a wonderful way to find out if students are gaining the emotional and intellectual skills that you want to see through the service project as outcomes. We often like to think of reflection in very simple terms. What? So what? And now what? If you're doing reflection for the first time, this is a wonderful way for you to get students to think through the process of the service project that they have just implemented or are implementing. First, in the what, we need to give students an opportunity to debrief. Give them a chance to summarize any notes that they've made on the service project. What have they done? What did they learn? So what? That's the next thing you need to find out. What is the point? Surfacing passions you're going to see. You're going to start seeing connections being made. You're going to start to see the students finding common ground. It could be common ground with their peers, common ground with the people that they are serving. What is the point of the service they are doing? And finally, now what? What's next? What are we going to do next? They focus on priorities. They think about commitments that they've made throughout the service process, and then they can move forward. Often when you're doing this type of reflection, you're going to see that other service projects can come out of an original service project and the now what process. For example, students doing a project where they're teaching students to read can say, Oh my goodness, the families don't have any books at home. How are these children going to continue their love of reading? Well, then the students can develop a new service project that looks at maybe developing a book drive to collect books to send home with those students so that they can read at home with their families.